Hi everyone, welcome to Emma Talks About Imposter Fact. Oh my god, like I just started. Okay, let's try that again. Hi everyone, welcome to Emma Talks About Imposter Factory for probably like 30 minutes because I have so many thoughts about it and I just want to talk about it with somebody. You guys see boxes in the back, that's because I'm packing for college. I'm literally leaving tomorrow and I just really wanted to make this video while I am supposed to be packing. So basically in this video, I'm just gonna talk about theories that I have for Imposter Factory. Imposter Factory is coming out in September. I mean, like, it's not. Like, let's be real with ourselves, it's not. It's coming out in like 2030. But as of right now, it's coming out in September. And by the time I'm filming this, it's August 12th? Yeah, it's August 12th. So it's coming out soon, and I want to share my theories so that if any of them are right, I have bragging rights forever, saying that I was able to guess the game. A lot of these theories, some of them contradict each other, so I'm just kind of throwing everything at the wall, and then if anything gets on there, I get bragging rights for being correct, is basically what I'm doing right now. Okay, so yeah, I literally just have a computer here, and just like a list of theories that I have written down, and I'm just gonna talk about them. So let's go. Theory number one, first and foremost, Neil is gonna die. Neil's dead. That dude is dead. It's self-explanatory. This is backed up. I have like Neil dies. I have that backed up by some other theories later, but I feel like I don't even need to back that up. I just feel like Neil's gonna die and that's it. And we should all just accept that. Except a little, I think a few weeks ago, Kangao tweeted something about how Imposter Factory was being released in September. And he said something like, we'll try to make this a good game even if Neil has to die, even if we have to kill Neil. I'll look up the exact wording later. But like, that makes me think that maybe Neil isn't gonna die, because my thing is like, as a content creator, I'm not a content creator. Just like hypothetically, as a content creator, if you were coming out with a third game, and it's like a major game in the series, and you were about to kill one of your main characters, you probably wouldn't want to directly bring it up. Even though like the To the Moon fandom is like, oh, Neil's dead. Like everyone pretty much thinks Neil is gonna die. I still feel like you wouldn't just like bring that up, right? You wouldn't just like joke about it. You would try to like just not mention it until the game comes out. So like, I don't know if that tweet makes me think that Neil is gonna die more or that Neil is gonna die less. Either way, I still think Neil is gonna die. It's just like, here are the two options for why Kangao would have tweeted that. 1, Neil is not gonna die, and he's making fun of us. 2, Neil is gonna die, and he's making fun of us. So either way, Kangao kind of wins in that scenario. Okay, so most of these theories, I keep talking about how my theories are laid out. I hope that this is super interesting to you guys, how I have my theories laid out on my computer. But most of them are like blocked off by specific like sections. Like I have a section of like the Imposter Factory Steam page, I have a section of trailer 1, I have a section of trailer 2, stuff like that. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is the Imposter Factory Steam page. Like literally when you just go on Steam and you click on Imposter Factory, the theories I have from that. In the description, there's a line that says, but this isn't their story, probably, after mentioning like Neil and Eva's jobs. So in every Steam page description about like To the Moon or Finding Paradise, the line about Eva and Neil's job is there. But that specific line, but this isn't their story, probably, that line is not in any of the other like Steam descriptions. The word probably in that sentence is what really intrigues me. The sentence calls like so much attention to itself, almost as though it's overcompensating the idea that this game won't be about Eva and Neil. Like, which makes me think that some part of this game is going to be heavily related to Eva and Neil. Not to say I think that Kangao was like trying to be slick here. Like, I don't think he was getting away with like, I don't think he thought he was getting away with this. Like, I don't think he wrote this line and was like, ooh, now no one's gonna think that this game is about Eva and Neil. You know what I'm talking about? I think that was very much on purpose to make the reader see that and be like, oh, okay. No, this game is gonna be about Eva and Neil, like at least a little bit. The word Quincy is always in italics, which I don't really have a theory for that one. I just think it's kind of weird and it's definitely important. I just don't know what the importance is. Either Quincy, like this is like the only theory I have for why Quincy is always in italics. Either Quincy isn't the real name of a person, like the game is called Imposter Factory, Or Quincy is a real person, but not who we believe to be Quincy at first. Like one of the characters, like maybe their name never gets explicitly said, but you think that their name is Quincy. And then later you find out that a different character is actually Quincy and you just assumed that the first one was Quincy or whatever. Like something like that. Either way, something's going on with Quincy, and I don't know what's up with that. Okay, second section, To the Moon trailer 1. Well, I guess Imposter Factory trailer 1. I don't know why I would be talking about the To the Moon trailers when I'm trying to talk about Imposter Factory. You get what I'm trying to say. First and foremost, this trailer is buck wild. I just wanted to get that out of the way. It's a weird trailer. Second, in my opinion, the first half of this trailer isn't really important. I didn't really see anything that needed to be analyzed in the first half, so I'm just looking at the second half. There's a dance number with 5 Neils, and they soon reveal themselves to not be Neil. I mean, except for, like, one of the people, but you get what I mean. Like, the 4 other ones are not Neil who were pretending to be Neil. Again, I don't think this is a weird one-off gag as just being, like, a weird dream Eva's having. Again, the title of the game is Imposter Factory, and an imposter is someone who is pretending to be someone that they're not. I think this hits heavily towards the fact that Neil is hiding something about himself, as though he is some sort of imposter. I don't believe that he's, like, literally an imposter. Like, I don't believe someone killed Neil and then stole his social security number or whatever, especially because Eva and Neil have canonically known each other since at least high school, possibly earlier, and I think Eva would have noticed if Neil had been, like, killed and replaced by somebody else. So I don't think that's what's going on. I believe imposter is being used like more metaphorically. For example, Neil is hiding so many parts of his private life or his personality or like etc. that he's almost like an imposter at this point. And then Neil shoots off in a rocket and starts flying around the screen. I don't know. Then Eva kind of wakes up in a panic because she just had probably the weirdest dream of her life. And then she gets a phone call from Roxy and the trailer ends with Eva yelling, "Neil, what?" Again, I believe this is pointing to the fact that this game is going to heavily involve Eva and Neil, maybe like specifically Neil. Don't get me wrong, To the Moon and Finding Paradise did involve Neil and Eva a lot. They were the ones doing the procedure. They were like the main characters of the game. But the games weren't like about them. To the Moon had Eva and Neil, but it was about Johnny and River. Finding Paradise had Eva and Neil, but it was about Colin, Faye, and Sophia. I believe that this game, at least part of it, is going to be about Neil and Eva. There's also a bunch of snapshots at the end of the trailer, and one of these is Neil and the rest of like the Sig Corp people dressed up very fancy, and Neil is holding a door open and there's a sliver of white coming out of the car. A lot of people in the To the Moon fandom freaked out when they saw this, believing that it was Eva in a wedding dress in the car and that Eva and Neil were getting married. And I'll get back to that in a second. Okay, third section, where we have Imposter Factory trailer 2, which has a lot more to analyze than the first one. This one starts off with a heartbeat, as all the other trailers do, but it goes pretty wrong pretty fast. The heartbeat starts making weird lines, and the music in the background goes sour, and finally, right before the image fades out, we see the heartline monitor split into 2 different directions. Which, I don't know how medically minded all of you are, but a heartbeat should not split into 2 separate directions. This is another reason I believe that this game will involve 2 memory traversals. Did I talk about that before? I just kind of had that written down in my notes. Have I mentioned that? I think this game is going to involve 2 different memory procedures, if I haven't already said that before. I don't think I have. Anyway, theory, this game is going to involve 2 different memory procedures. Because there are like 2 heartbeat lines, because they split off into 2, both of these memory traversals will probably go very wrong, as all memory traversals seem to do, because both of them stemmed from the same very irregular beats. Now here I'm going to kind of jump around from all the different places in the trailer, because it'd be kind of difficult to talk about all of my theories like chronologically within the trailer. Now remember at the very beginning of all of these theories when I said Neil was going to die? Yeah. I believe he's going to get the memory changing procedure, and that procedure canonically kills people. Like, if you read the first Steam description for To the Moon, like just straight up To the Moon, it is revealed that this memory procedure is what kills people. That's why people have to get it on their deathbed. And I think that is what's going to kill Neil. Remember how I said earlier how some people believe that Neil at the car was Eva in a wedding dress getting ready for her and Neil's wedding? Well, it's true. Maybe. We see Neil and Eva getting married in this trailer. Or I should clarify, we see Eva in a wedding dress and Neil in a nice suit standing together on the altar. That's all we know, but we can kind of assume from there. There is like a possibility that like Eva's in a wedding dress and she's not marrying Neil and Neil is just for some reason on the altar. But seems unlikely. It would be really funny if that's what happened. But I think we can kind of assume that they're getting married. Now, while I was very excited to see this the first time I watched the trailer, it also struck me as, like, really odd. If you've seen my previous playthroughs, I played To the Moon and Finding Paradise, you should check them out. You know that I joke a lot about the little details hinting towards Neil having a huge crush on Eva and that they're going to get together or whatever, but truly, like, surface level, just like looking at the games, there aren't that many hints about them getting together or anything. There's a few hints that, like, maybe Neil likes Eva, and quite frankly, there are no hints that Eva likes Neil back romantically, like, at all. So how is there suddenly a wedding? Like, why are they just getting married in this third game? Virtually nothing for the first 2 games, and now they're vowing to spend the rest of their lives together. Makes me think that the wedding might not be real. Specifically, I think that this is a Neil's final wish situation, and his final wish is to marry Eva, because, oh lord, that boy is in love. Now we're really gonna start jumping around with theories, and I'm very sorry, please try to stick with me. I just didn't really know how to write all of these theories in a cohesive manner. Another thing that really stuck out to me during this trailer is that there are literal tentacles in the sky, which is, to say the least, quite strange. The To the Moon series has always been sci-fi, like, don't get me wrong, but it's always been, like, a realistic science fiction, if that makes sense. Like, the only thing really sci-fi about it is the machine used to traverse through people's memories, and to some extent, that could be real. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a machine, and it's not like AI self-aware, like, people use it, it's just a machine used to do other things, which makes it, like, realistic. It's never been, like, fantasy sci-fi with aliens trying to, like, attack the Earth and stuff. Like, this is, like, a wild, like, genre change. So I don't think those tentacles are real. I mean, like, obviously, but even in the fiction of Imposter Factory, I don't think those tentacles are real. If this is a Neil's final wish situation, I think all of this, like all of the tentacle attacks, are taking place within his mind. Remember when in To the Moon, the first game, Johnny took just a few beta blockers like once as a kid, and his entire childhood was erased from him, and Neil and Eva were put into like this weird like white space where it was all like staticky and falling apart. So you know that Neil is canonically addicted to painkillers, or he has a chronic illness where he has to take them. Either way, the man takes a lot of painkillers. I guess it's not canonical that he's addicted. It's canonical that he takes them for a reason that he is very evasive about. Because his reason was that he walked into a wall really hard, but then he continued to take them years later. So something's up with the painkillers. I think these drugs would mess a person's brain up pretty severely, enough for a brain to create an alien tentacle monsters attacking the Earth while he's getting the Sigmund procedure. Also, in the wedding scene, the sky goes dark and Neil and Eva look up, which implies to me that, like, they're looking at the tentacles that are attacking the sky, and that, again, reinforces the idea that this wedding is fake. There's also a line in the trailer that says, "Your mistake will end this world," which, sidebar, really quick, is the word end in white and the rest in, like, a yellow or, like, an off-white? Am I just going crazy? Does the word end look like a different color to you? And if so, why is the word end the most important word in the sentence? Like, while watching this trailer, I saw a lot of words that looked like they were a slightly different color, because the, like, word Imposter Factory, like the I and the F are like, I can't exactly remember now, but they're either like yellow while the rest of the letters are white, or they're white while the rest of the other words are like yellow. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And like, some of the words while I'm watching this trailer look like they're a different color from the rest of the words. And end really looks like it's a different color. I don't know if I'm just like going crazy or not, but a lot of those words look like they're different colors from each other. I am going crazy a little bit. I'm looking at myself in the video and I'm going crazy. Anyway, that sentence doesn't say end the world. It says end this world, implying that this isn't the true or real world, it's just like another world, which to me implies that it's talking about the world created within Neil's mind during the procedure. It's possible that the mistake this trailer is talking about is Neil getting addicted to painkillers, which obviously, real quick, addiction is no one's fault. I just want to say that real quick. Neil obviously did not choose to become addicted to painkillers, but like, you get what I mean. The addiction is probably what's killing him and what put him into this situation to like be on his deathbed to get the Sigmund procedure. There's also a woman on the moon without like any space gear on, looking at the world as it gets destroyed by tentacles. Again, another point for the tentacles not being real, because if they were real, how is there just a woman standing on the moon? Just like chilling. Now this theory, I will admit that I'm about to get into, is kind of shaky and a little bit out there, but I believe that there is a possibility of the woman in the red dress being Faye from Finding Paradise. You get what I'm saying. Number one, I just think they look similar. They both have pale skin, they both have light brown hair, they both have green eyes. I mean, that's really it. Pixelated people don't have a lot of detail, so I don't really have much to go off there. But for what I do have to go off, she kind of looks like Faye. For one, the girl in the red dress is seen in both scenes from the fancy manor, which we assume to be Quincy's story, probably, and on the moon about to get attacked by the tentacles, which is, I believe, is Neil's wish. So, like, everything that has to do with the tentacles, I believe, is going on in Neil's mind, and would probably have nothing to do with Quincy. So how could one woman exist in two different stories and do unrealistic and unhuman things, existing on the moon without a spacesuit, in both of those people's memories? Remember back at the end of Finding Paradise, we see Neil working on his machine showing the solution, and a picture of Faye pops up on the screen. I took this to mean that since Faye was able to grant Colin his wish so quickly because she was directly linked to the person hooked up to the machine, Neil was impressed by this and wanted to replicate this into other patients, which would explain how she was being placed into both the story and Quincy and Neil's memory, because she was placed into both memories artificially after Neil already, like, copied her data and is able to, like, extract her into other people's memories. I hesitated to call it Quincy's memory because, again, we don't really know who Quincy is because their name is always weirdly in italics. It could be the girl in the red dress, since Quincy can be used as a unisex name, or to match with my theory that I just talked about, it's the fake name that Faye uses when she's in those memories, or it's just like the guy that we see in the trailers. Like, we just don't really know what's up with Quincy, so I'm kind of nervous to ever give any concrete theories about Quincy, because we just don't know. There's also another scene in the trailer where the girl in the red dress is walking and suddenly she looks up at the sky. And at the very right of the screen when she stops, there's an angel statue which looks a lot like Faye's final form, and that could possibly be hinting that this girl is Faye. Yes, I will admit that theory, I mean this whole theory, but this part of the theory specifically is kind of grasping at straws. But I thought I would include it anyway, because if I'm right, I'm gonna hold that over everyone forever. I don't know who I'm gonna hold it over, because I don't think I'm really, like, beefing with any other Imposter Factory theory fans right now. But if I'm right that this girl is Faye, I'm gonna feel so smart for the rest of my life. Another quick piece of evidence for my Rosa Watts wedding is Neil's Sigmund final wish theory. There's a part in the trailer where the screen fades slightly darker at the wedding, which I previously talked about when they look up and stuff like that. And then the immediate next scene is the Sigmund building going darker in the exact same way that the wedding did. To me, this, like, equates the wedding with Sigmund because both of the things happened in the exact same way and the scenes were both directly next to each other, which leads to the idea that the wedding is created by Sigmund through their memory-changing technology. Also, there's, like, nobody at Neil and Eva's wedding. Like, no one. There are 7 people from Sigmund that we can see, and that's it. You might think that it's possible other people could be there, they're just, like, not on screen. But when the screen is fading in, we can see extra empty benches, which implies that the 7 people we see are the only people there, which is very strange for a wedding. I can understand Neil not inviting very many people. He doesn't seem to have many friends, and he obviously has a strained relationship with his parents, as we see in the Christmas minisodes. But why wouldn't Eva's family be there? They canonically exist in the game, and we have character models for them, so it's not like Kangao doesn't have, like, just literally doesn't have any other characters to put in there. He does. We have Eva's family in the game. So it's very strange that Eva's family would not be at her own wedding. For me, this is another point that the wedding is fake and all in Neil's mind, because the guest list just does not seem realistic. Another hint that the first part of the game will be about Quincy and the second part will be about Neil. I think I might have mentioned that. I keep forgetting which theories I've already talked about or not, or, like, if I have mentioned them explicitly. Explicitly, in Imposter Factory, I think the first part of the game is going to be kind of a weird horror murder experience that bases around Quincy. And I think the second part of the game will be about Neil's memory traversal, where we got to deal with the tentacles and stuff, and Neil dying, and Neil trying to marry Eva. That's what I think is going to go on in this game. And another hint that that is what is going to happen is that in an interview with Kangao said that Imposter Factory was originally going to be 2 different games, but was able to combine the 2 into just one game, Imposter Factory. Which I take to mean that, like, the original 3rd game was going to be about the weird horror game with, like, Quincy or whatever, and the 4th game is going to be going through Neil's memories. Now we're going to move on to theories I've created unrelated to all of the trailers and stuff for Imposter Factory. This is just stuff that I've picked up on from like the previous games. I think all of the games, definitely Finding Paradise in the Christmas minisodes, and possibly To the Moon, are all happening within Neil's memory. Real quick, I believe that everything we see in those games are real events that have happened. Neil and Eva really work at Sigmund. They really did have a memory traversal on Johnny and Colin. They really attended those Christmas parties, etc., etc. I do not believe that this entire franchise has just been a dream sequence or whatever. And if it has, I'll be super mad, and Kangal, I'm coming for you if I play Imposter Factory and the whole thing has been a dream sequence. But I don't think that's what's happening. And if it is, Kangal, I'm watching you. Moving on. Again, Neil is getting his final wish or whatever done in this game, and to get the final wish done, the Sigmund workers have to work through a lot of these people's memories. I believe these games, like To the Moon and Finding Paradise and the Christmas minisodes, are some of the important memories of Neil's. I don't really know how to speak English. That the Sigmund workers, whoever they may be, probably Eva, just to make it, a little bit more dramatic, that like they'll have to work through. So To the Moon, Finding Paradise, Christmas minisodes, they are real events that happened, but we the players are seeing these games and these events in the way Neil remembers them to have happened, because these are Neil's memories. Which, that theory of all of these games being Neil's memories could explain what I was talking about previously, how like they're getting married in the third game, but like the first game and the second game barely had any hints that they liked each other. There was like one hint in the first game where Neil tried to put like his arm on Eva's shoulder, and there was like a second hint and there was like one hint in the second game where a girl called Eva Neil's girlfriend and Neil didn't really correct her. Like, that's basically it. That's all we have to go off of for like Neil having a crush on Eva. So if all of these are Neil's memories, I feel like Neil probably thinks he's like real slick about it, about like liking Eva. So in his memories, he probably doesn't like mess up that much around Eva or made it like super obvious that he likes her. But like if we were to see the real events of those happening, he probably would be like more nervous and flustered and mess up a lot more and be more obvious that he likes her, because like if he does like her. Does that make sense? Like in his own memories, he would be more like smooth with it, but like in the real memories, we would probably realize like, oh, this dude is in love with her. So now we're gonna get into like why I think that those games are Neil's memories. I already talked about a few reasons why I believe the Christmas minisodes were in Neil's memories, and if you want proof about those, well, my theories about why the Christmas minisodes are memories, you can go back and watch my Christmas minisodes. I talk about my theories at the end of them. I don't really want to explain the whole like same thing again, just in a different video. Go watch my Christmas minisode videos. But there is a moment in Finding Paradise when Neil goes outside to retrieve, I think he was getting his painkillers. It's been a while since I played the game, but either way, he's going out to the car to go get something. And at this moment, he is in the real world. Like, he has unplugged himself from the machine. He is not in Colin's memory anymore. Like, he's chilling. He's in the real world. However, even though he's in the real world, he sees a motorcycle with a woman dressed in a dress that looks exactly like the one Faye is wearing. And she's wearing a helmet, so we can't see her face, but the dress is pretty obvious that it's Faye. Neil begins to chase after her for a second, confused, looking like he's recognized Faye, but there's a very brief flash of white, and Neil steps back and then simply comments something about how cool he thinks the motorcycle is, and then just goes back to the car and just forgets all about it. This moment is exactly like when people in memory traversals get reset. There's a flash of white and then the person forgets exactly what they were doing at that time and then goes back to doing something normal. Now this doesn't make any sense because Neil should be in the real world right now. There should be no way for Faye to be there or for him to get like reset unless he was in a memory traversal. And what we are seeing in that moment is his own memories of the Colin traversal events, and Faye and the other Sigmund workers are currently working through his mind, resetting him and stuff. I don't really have any theories about To the Moon being Neil's memories, because I think at this time, maybe Kangal hadn't like fully planned out that idea. Maybe he didn't exactly know that everything was going to be Neil's memories, if this theory is true. So maybe like at that time that was the real memory, and then later he was gonna be like, oh, these are all Neil's memories. Again, that's only the case if this theory is true, and voice crack, sorry. And like Finding Paradise, like I said, Finding Paradise and the Christmas minisodes are definitely memories in my theories. To the Moon really could go either way, I guess. Like, To the Moon does not have to be Neil's memories for these theories to work. I just feel like it would fit more cohesively into the theory if To the Moon was a memory. But again, I don't really have any specific theories for that. I just think it would be more cohesive if it worked like that. I'm kind of rambling. Kanga also released a track called A Reality Without Me, which I have listened to about 500 times. It's one of my favorite tracks I think I've ever heard from Kanga, and it's downright depressing. And I think it holds a lot of hints for what is going to happen in the game. Number one, this song is obviously very important to Imposter Factory since it has not appeared in any other game. It doesn't sound like a track meant to be repeated in many situations, which I guess is just kind of like opinion, that's not really fact, but this doesn't really just sound like background music for whenever you walk into a room. And it's a late game track. The CD on the track says track 36. In the background of the song, cricket chirps and wave sounds can be heard, which if you remember from the Christmas minisodes, are the two things Eva specifically mentions the recorder she got for Neil can play. Wave sounds, like beach sounds, and crickets chirping. This is another point for this game having strong themes that this game has to deal with Eva and Neil. Also, in the middle of the song, a Bestest Detective's leitmotif is heard, played at a higher octave and in like the middle of a slowed down section. This part was like meant to be caught by the listener, and Bestest Detectives is a song heavily related to Eva and Neil as a pairing. Again, another point for this game that this is going to be about Eva and Neil, like at least a section of it. Not even mentioning the title, A Reality Without Me. Someone's dying or getting erased or getting forgotten when this song plays. I also think it's possible it's alluding to one of them being erased from each other's memories, maybe specifically Eva. I think Neil and Eva's ship name should be Eel. Let me start over. I think it's possible that this song is alluding to one of them being erased from each other's memories, specifically Eva getting erased from Neil's memories. Got it. Maybe Eva goes into Neil's memories to try to fulfill his wish, whatever it is. In this specific theory, he does not have to be wanting to marry Eva. It could work, that could be his wish, but in this theory I'm about to say, the only thing that needs to be true is that he's getting a Sigmund wish. So like whatever he's getting done, but then she realizes that Eva has to erase herself from Neil's memories to make the wish work. The series has set up the idea of women being erased from men's minds, like in every game. River being erased from Johnny and Faye being erased from Colin, even though that didn't happen. But like every time that this is like brought up, it's associated with Eva. Eva was the one who decided to erase River in the first game, and in the second game, when Neil suggests they have to erase Faye, he comments that Eva would know more about that. The series has repeatedly set up the idea of erasing people and closely associates that action with Eva, and I feel like this is going to play a part in Imposter Factory. So, to boil this all down, I think the track is going to play during Eva's traversal of Neil's memories as she erases himself, playing both into the one of them dies explanation and the one is forgetting the other possible meanings of the track name. Now this theory, I don't believe as much as the other theories. I just think it's a possibility that Eva might have to like erase herself or change some part of herself to make Neil's final wish situation work. So, like if I play this game, if I play this game, when I play this game, if Eva does not get erased from Neil's memories, I won't be like surprised. But if she does get erased from Neil's memories, again, I'll feel very smart. And then I also want to talk about the promotional photos of Imposter Factory. And again, now that I'm looking at this, I can see that like the I and the F are yellow and the rest of the words are like, well, the rest of the letters are white. So I feel like definitely in that second trailer, some of those words were white while the others were like yellow. But I don't know. Moving on. So in the first promo picture of the first promo picture of the Imposter Factory. So in the first promo picture of Imposter Factory that I want to talk about, we see the woman in the red dress like in this like really dark room. And there's not really a lot to talk about here. Again, we can't really like see the girl. Like, so there's nothing to really look at there. She's just kind of wearing like a red and gold dress. She looks nice, I guess. But what I want to talk about is the two umbrellas that are like on the stand there, which have to be important because there are only 3 things in this room, and it's the woman and the 2 umbrellas. Like, I feel like just from an art standpoint, if you're only going to put 3 things in the room and everything else is going to be dark, those 3 things are probably pretty important. And we already know why the girl is important. She's either the main character or Faye or like whatever. But the 2 umbrellas, one of them matches her decor. Like her, why did I call it her decor? Her clothes. Anyway, the umbrella matches her clothes. Like, the main part of the umbrella is red, and then it has like a gold handle, and it has like gold trimming, and that matches her. So I think that umbrella represents like her as a character. But then there's an umbrella next to her that's like blue and silver. So again, I think this also goes with my idea that like there's 2 main characters, there's 2 parts of this game. The first part is probably going to follow this girl or Quincy, or maybe she's Quincy. Again, I don't know. And then the second part of the game is just going to follow someone. I believe that it's Neil, but like this could just be like the second character. I don't think Neil is really associated with blue and silver colors. I think he's more associated with green because his eyes are green, but again, that's also just kind of like in fan art or whatever. So I think there's going to be a second character, and their character is going to be heavily like blue or silver or whatever. So I think that's what's kind of like, I think that's what they're hinting at in this first photo. And then there's a second photo where, again, we see a close-up of the woman and we can't make out anything from her face because the lighting is all behind her and we can't see anything. And then there's like a guy at the door who's just like standing there, and they're like in a lavender field, I think, which we also see in one of the other trailers. So the lavender field is probably important. And the lavender field is also on the CD for A Reality Without Me. So something's going on in this lavender field. And I think the guy at the door could like maybe be Neil. I don't really have any like concrete evidence for that. He just kind of looks like a guy. He's like barely a silhouette. But like he's wearing like a jacket. He has short hair. He maybe has glasses on. Like, so my theory for that is just like maybe that's Neil. That's all I kind of got there. And then we also got the stars in the sky, and we know that Neil is really associated with stars because, well, number one, in the wedding, on his side of the wedding, there's like stars in the trees, and on Eva's side, there's jellyfish, which is very cute. And then Neil also said that he stargazed as a kid. So maybe the fact that there's stars in the background kind of hints that this is Neil, because no one else has ever walked outside while there's stars around, only Neil. So yeah, that's basically it. I did talk for like 30 minutes about Imposter Factory. I just want this on the internet so that if I'm right about any of these theories, I don't know, I'll just tell Kangao to suck it, I guess. I guessed your game. How do you feel? What if I did guess the entirety of Imposter Factory? I'll feel so smart. I'll feel so smart. And what if all of this is wrong? Then Kangao, if you're watching this, you got a 4th game, because I feel like these theories are pretty cool. If you want to make a 4th game, you could just copy what I thought my theories were. It's like a win-win situation. You get a 4th game and I get to feel smart about guessing some theories, even though I guessed them for the wrong game, but you know what I mean. Anyway, bye. I'll see you in 2 years when Imposter Factory finally comes out.